people don't care. They want to know, if I spend my money on this, how is that going to help me? Spoke previously about how people are making more of an analog lifestyle choice this year. 2026 is all about lifestyle decision making.
Like there's one that springs to mind that they work in quite like a dirty environment, and I went around with like shirts they could change into.
Yeah, I've seen franchisees who won't follow the brand guidelines and do their own thing, but it just makes the brand look really cheap.
Hello, welcome to the Franchise Marketing Show. I'm today with Steph from Coconut.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
You're with us for the second time in this series.
I know.
Slow down.
I've got so much to share.
What are we here to talk about today?
We are here to talk about why the biggest successes when it comes to franchise recruitment is your secret weapon, your franchisee.
Okay. What are the other options that aren't franchisee?
Really?
Yeah, just say, we'll start with that, the boring stuff.
One of the biggest mistakes that a lot of brands, not just in franchising, but just generally, one of the biggest mistakes that people make is to talk about themselves. People don't care about you. Sorry to say. People don't care about your brand. People don't care about the business. They care about themselves. We live in a kind of society where people are focused on building their own lives, trying to, find that sense of purpose, that sense of direction. They're not bothered about what it is you think you're good at. They want to know what your business, what your brand, what your franchise can do for me. And so that's probably one of the biggest mistakes that I see a lot, is when brands talk about themselves, when franchisors talk about themselves. Even when it comes to selling services and products of the franchise network, when you talk about yourself a lot, people don't care. They want to know, if I spend my money on this, how is that going to help me? If I spend my money on this service, how is it going to benefit my life? And so, that's probably the biggest mistake that I see a lot. And it's great to shout about the accolades, and we'll kind of talk about, when it comes to marketing, you do need to build credibility. You need to build that authenticity. You do need to talk about the brand and your successes, but in such a way that it's this will benefit you in this way.
Yeah, if you talk about the data and investment and all that kind of stuff, that is important, but that's kind of dry.
Yeah.
It's a dry subject.
Yeah, it's relevant, but it's not as relevant as you think it is. Yeah. Especially more recently, we spoke previously about how people are making more of an analog lifestyle choice this year. 2026 is all about lifestyle decision making. And so when it comes to the brand and talking about, you've won this accolade, you've won this award, is credible. It's building that credibility. But there are so many awards these days. How trustworthy is your award that you're shouting about? And so not only do you need to build that credibility, you need to build the trustworthiness as well, which is where talking about how does it benefit the franchisees? Okay, so you've won this award. What does that showcase about the brand for me?
Yeah.
Why should I trust that that's...
Yeah, well, does a franchisee really care about an award you've won?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I don't really think about any awards unless it's a football trophy, then I'll be like, yeah, Champions League, important.
But why is that important? What does that mean to you?
So if it's my Chelsea...
Didn't we beat you last time?
Who? Newcastle? I don't remember. How many Champions Leagues have Newcastle won? 0.
I mean, I'm more of a rugby girl than a football girl, but...
No rugby team has won the UEFA Champions League twice.
That's because we're not playing.
But yeah, okay, so from a franchise perspective, if I was buying give me a franchise.
Okay, let's say, for example, hypothetical, Chelsea is a franchise.
Yeah.
And they're shouting about this award that they've won. Why do you care?
because you could. That's if it's a football club. We're just going to steer away from this, but I'm going to say, if you're a player joining a football club, you see it as an opportunity to win more trophies, because trophies matter in football, but I don't think trophies matter in franchising. Like, you don't, as a franchisee, you're not joining a franchise to win an EF 100 award, but as a footballer, you want to win trophies.
Okay.
Because that's the end goal.
Yeah.
Whereas it's not the end goal for a franchisee.
Exactly. So that's why there should be less emphasis on. It's important to talk about. It's important to talk about. I mean, you know, you have got reputable awards that are worth entering, especially you've got awards that celebrate franchisees. Those are definitely worth entering, and those are definitely worth kind of shouting about, because you're talking about the franchisee, you're talking about the franchisee story from rags to riches. Everyone loves a rags to riches or an underdog story. So if you've got that in the network and they've won an award, whether it's your internal awards, whether it's an external award, they're worth shouting about. When it comes to the franchisor brand award win, it's great to see, but why? So, like, one of the categories last year was a franchisor support. And we entered a client into that. They were shortlisted, but they didn't win. But the fact that they were shortlisted was because of the level of support that they provide to the network. So the benefit to someone looking in is, okay, that's
they
the
see
specific.
they see it as a.
Yeah, it's emphasising, it's trustworthy, it's reliable, it's showcasing that at this level, like the national level, so the BFA awards, which is like the creme de la creme when it comes to the awards, at this level, out of over 1,000 brands in the UK alone, they were shortlisted as one of three for their level of support.
Say if you were buying like a care brand franchise, and it came down to two companies, one had won an award for franchisee support and one hadn't.
You're more likely to go for.
Would you?
Yeah,
but
I would.
Yeah,
because it's got that credibility. It's got that. Okay, that's beneficial.
For all things being equal, otherwise.
Exactly. If they were equal in every other way, but one has just stood out head and shoulders above other care brands because they've won this specific award, to me that says there's something about the support they provide to their network that would be beneficial to me as a potential franchisee. And that's, you know, that's the crux of what we're talking about, is the stories within the network have to be, and we talked about the target audience last time, it has to be relevant to the target audience rather than just proclaiming we've won an award, which is great. It's definitely worth celebrating every success within any kind of franchise, especially these days when business is so hard. But marketing these days, it has to relate back to, why is that relevant to you?
Yeah, otherwise it could just be like an ego builder.
Yeah, and it just becomes noise. It just adds to the noise of everything that's going on. It's like, great, move on.
So if you win an award, you've got to promote it for the right reasons off the back of it. For the right reason,
for the beneficial reasons to the franchisee.
Yeah. The whole point of entering an award should be because of that franchisee relationship. Yeah.
So everything that you do when it comes to recruitment marketing, when it comes to core marketing, it has to be about the person, the target audience. So obviously we've seen brands that do it wrong. We've seen brands that kind of focus on the wrong thing in terms of like just doing like trying to be too general. So their stories are not hitting anyone because no one can really relate to it. It's like, for me, if someone was to like talk about, so two scenarios. If someone was to talk to me about an accountancy franchise, and they're just like, it's so general, it's just like, that doesn't mean anything, that won't attract me. But if someone had a pottery franchise and they kind of talk to the fact that I enjoy doing pottery and that I can see myself having a studio, but I don't know where to start, and then they're like, we've done this, we know how to help you start, here's a success story of someone who's like you, who also enjoyed doing it, who decided that they wanted to have a studio in their garden, that's going to pique my interest, because I'm like, that's my goal for the next 5 years. So it kind of, it's all about that element of talking to directly rather than talking generally and hoping for the best.
I always think like the best content, especially like franchise recruitment stuff, is the stuff that's like painting a picture for a potential franchisee, so they can see themselves in that one they're already showing. Yeah.
It's about show and tell.
Yeah.
Show, not tell, sorry. Like, you know, when I was in school, hundreds of years ago, not quite that long, but when I was
during
in school...
the war?
In 1842. I remember my English teacher, because I loved English, and I remember my English teacher constantly saying, show, don't tell.
There are little things that I've not actually thought of when I've been out shooting like franchisee testimonial stuff.
Can't shoot franchisees.
When I've shot franchisee testimonial videos, like there's one that springs to mind that they work in quite like a dirty environment, and I went around with like shirts they could change into.
Yeah, exactly.
So that like little things like that is worthwhile. Like I had them in my office for like a year. Yeah. Just like, oh, you can change into this clean shirt. Yeah. So little things like that are worthwhile.
Exactly.
And on the opposite scale of that, I once filmed a day in the life of a franchisee on Halloween, and everyone in the office was dressed in costume, which dates terribly.
Exactly, yeah.
So if I'd gone a day either side of that, it would have looked totally normal. Yeah. But like everyone in the office dressed as vampires and witches looked bizarre.
Yeah, it would look weird in the middle of April when the sun is trying to watch. That's why when we do one of our conventions, we get people to take off their Remembrance Day badges.
Oh right, yeah.
And the lanyards.
And lanyards as well.
Yeah, just because you want something that's green that can be used anytime and won't date and just look irrelevant. So you don't want to go into an office when it's all like Christmas trees and Elf on the Shelf and stuff like that, because in the summer it's going to be like, that's weird. Yeah. You can't use it.
So like the Halloween one was really bizarre, because it was just like a day either side of that would have been perfect, or if people hadn't dressed up that day. Yeah. Yeah, so it's like little details, thinking about that before you show that.
Yeah, exactly.
And create that content. And
you want to show a franchisee is the business owner and not just part of the team. You're trying to get someone to aspire to running a business. So if you've got that blue collar kind of franchise, you don't want pictures of the franchisee kind of doing the work, even though they might be doing the work, because franchisees can, they can.
Well, some people might be attracted to that, to do the work.
Yeah, but you don't want to show that prominently. You want to show the franchisee as someone that owns the business, and they've got the option. They can manage the business from the outside. They can manage the business from the inside, because you're
just stand out from
exactly. Everyone, yeah, and it's important. It's important to show what the brand does and what the business will be doing, because people want to know, what am I going to be doing on a daily basis. But it's also important to think about, okay, am I showing this person as someone who goes out in a van doing deliveries or fixing things or whatever? Or am I showing them as owning a fleet of vehicles with a team of people where they go out and do the work and I have the option? It's that kind of, it's thinking differently, it's thinking broader.
Yeah. So the little thing like bringing a clean shirt for them to wear is like a huge thing, but it's a tiny little decision. Yeah. But it's a good decision. Yeah. Yeah, nice.
Or for a woman, just lipstick.
Yeah.
Just like, you might not wear it all the time, which is fine. But
I think it's what they feel comfortable in.
Yeah.
And what they feel they would look their best in.
Yeah.
So,
but sometimes you need an outside opinion to show you what you would look your best in.
That just reminds me of like I've been to weddings where like the bride never normally wears makeup, and then they get makeup for their day, and I've seen some brides where it's like I did not recognise them because they like had makeup on.
Yeah, they don't know themselves.
So I think you need to feel comfortable in yourself and look at yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but franchisors definitely need to consider like the face of the brands.
Yeah.
And, you get some where the franchisor is like, I'm the founder, I need to be the one that's always seen. No, not always. Because people want to, that if there's a story in that, and there is a story in that, and that's part of the story, but as a franchisee, I want to see what franchisees can achieve. I'm never going to own a franchise network. I don't want to know about the franchisor always. I want to know about the franchisee, the rags to riches, the underdog, the stories within the story.
But will your main relationship be with a franchisor or the franchisee once you yourself are a franchisee?
It depends on the network. So you've got smaller brands where the franchisor is very heavily involved in every franchisee. You've got large networks where they've got a team of people and the franchisees are kind of, you've got the franchisee mentors and groups and things that work together. So it's very much dependent on the size of the brand. Yeah.
Because I know like somewhere the franchisor is very prominent.
Yeah.
And then others where the network, everyone's mates.
Yeah.
And then the franchisor is further back.
I mean, there are times when, I'm not going to talk about franchises because I don't want anyone to kind of think that I'm being disparaging, but there are some businesses where it seems to be all about the founder. And less about the services, less about the products, less about what they do. It's like, look at me, look at what I've achieved. I'm amazing. I'm like doing this, that, and the other. And it's like, that's great. You're just building your own brand. You're not really like, I don't know what your business is about. And I think that's the kind of line between promoting any kind of business, especially franchising, is we need to use the people, we need to use the story, but we don't want it to come across like it's all about one particular person or a group of people. And like, I've got one client, and I remember talking to one of the business coaches last year, and they were like, you seem to only use franchisees from the South. Obviously, I'm based in the Midlands. I'm like, I don't know where they're from. I just use the people that respond to me. And I use the people that are happy to get involved in things. Yeah. And if that's the people in the South, then we need to work on how to engage more with those in the North. Because, some brands are trying to attract the people in the North, and they will switch off from people in the South because you have got this...
It is really like, especially like, I don't know what it's like in other countries because I've never worked in like America or anything, but within England and the UK, you can travel like 30 miles and people will have a different accent.
Yeah.
So it is, very like, and there's not really, it's like a little bit of maybe a rivalry between North and South, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely.
So I have been to work with franchise brands that have said, right, we need to go London, South, Liverpool, Manchester, Wales, Scotland, Newcastle, because then you've got, and Midlands, Birmingham, because then you've got like 8 different accents.
Yeah.
And there's loads of more like different accents as well, but like they have a big sort of different accents, aren't they? So just by showcasing that, you're showcasing that you are a countrywide brand.
Yeah. And that touches on the diversity element as well. When I first started in franchising, everything seemed to be white middle class male. Yeah.
That's changed a lot, I think.
It has changed a lot. A lot of franchises have purposely been focused on, using more of their franchisees to show that there are women, that there are people of other nationalities and cultures. And it shows the richness of the brand, which is so important because you want people to feel like they will belong.
Yeah, and they can paint themselves into a picture. They'll relate to different people.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is so, like, that's the value of franchise marketing. You're showing that people, not only will they be part of a successful business, which is what I want to know, but I also want to know, will I fit in? Human beings, psychologically, they want to fit in. People don't like to stand out necessarily especially for the wrong reasons. They want to feel like they'll be part of something, that they would belong to something, that they won't be on the outside, but will kind of be welcomed in. And you can show that through the diversity of the brand and the network and, not just using the same people all the time, although it is important to have that consistency, but you're building trust, you're building reliability, you're building authenticity. it's not about using stock imagery, and like we've spoken about this like many times.
AI imagery as well.
It's not about that. It's about using who's in your network, which is hard to do because franchisees often are so busy. So how do you then encourage them to be part of the process? And it's by showing the franchisees that there's value in them talking about it, because if you get bad franchisees in a network, that has a negative impact on the whole network. And we've seen it like over the last 8 years, like since I've seen brands who have had their reputation tarnished because they had a franchisee who was not quite on the same page and wasn't quite following the model and was doing their own thing. And it affects the whole network because a client or a customer has a negative experience, put a negative review, talk negatively, talk to a cousin in another area where a good franchisee is working, but they're like, oh no, don't touch that because I had this experience. And so you've got like this, you then start to get this whole damage to the network, to the brand, to the franchise. And that's why it's important to make sure you get the right franchisees involved.
So are there like red flags that you'd see in that recruitment process where you're like, whoa, I shouldn't touch this person?
I think I'm not involved in recruitment, but I think recruitment managers definitely will be able to see that because they will have the conversations, they will be able to identify who is going to be a good fit. But it does start with the marketing process. It does start with identifying target audience, making sure you're speaking to the right people who've got the right motivation, the right values, who will follow the model and not just try and do their own thing. And you can pick that up in conversation. The recruitment manager will pick that up in conversation. So there will be red flags. It might be as glaring as like, they might not be good at following instruction. And obviously as a franchisee, you've got the franchise model. The best franchisees are the ones that follow the model.
Yeah. I was talking to Louise Harris, who's formerly of Wilkins Chimney Sweep at an EWIF meeting in December. And she said when she left, she was talking to the franchisees from Wilkins. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. I'm going to say it anyway. But like some of the vans, like a new franchisee came in and he wanted to like just have a white van and all the other vans were black.
Yeah, with the yellow.
And they were just like, yeah, okay, fine. So he had like a white van, everyone else's is black. And I think he sort of got a sticker on the side rather than like it printed properly. So it looks like...
Looks shoddy.
Yeah. And compared to all the other franchisees who've got like the branded everything, they wear black, the vans are black, it's got the logo, everything. To have someone different within the network who's sort of just doing their own thing reflects badly on them as well.
It does.
And then they start thinking, what can I do that I can get away with?
Yeah.
So I don't have to follow the system.
Yeah.
So if you're just on top of things and you know that this is how we do things and you keep that system running, it just keeps a tight ship and everyone sort of pulling in the same direction. So if you have a franchisee that pulls away from that, it does make everyone else look bad.
It does.
Because if you're driving around and you see that one white van, you'd be like, oh, is that from that franchise?
It almost comes across like they're not part of the franchise. It could be like
they've got the same name, but
yeah, are they like fake?
It reflects badly on the brand.
Like, steal the identity, and that's why brand protection is a really important aspect of the process. Protecting your brand. Like I've seen franchisees who won't follow the brand guidelines and do their own thing, but it just makes the brand look really cheap and nasty and not very good. Whereas if a franchisor has invested in brand templates and brand guidelines,
so
there's a reason for that.
Yeah, from a video point of view as well, I always ask for the brand guidelines, and that's like logo, colours, fonts, even like music and stuff. They might have like a jingle that they use. Yeah. So if that's not exactly how they want it, it just looks out of place compared to everything else. But if it's the same constantly, like I was working with Sarah Krezel, she won't mind me saying this, but like the subtitles weren't high enough in the video compared to all of her others, because on Instagram you have all like the detail stuff, and if the subtitles are behind that, it just you can't read the subtitles. So she was really detailed on that. I do like having that level of detail. And if someone says to me like and gives me those instructions, it is really important, because like people wouldn't be able to read those subtitles otherwise.
Exactly. And it shows that the brand is credible, because obviously that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that credibility. And if like a brand is more than just a logo, it's like the whole thing, how something is portrayed online or in person. And if someone's not following that, it kind of takes away from the brand by making it look like cheap. And it's like, again, like we said earlier about two brands who are exactly the same, but one has got like a range of content online that looks different, whereas one looks consistent. I'm more likely to go towards the one that's consistent because it looks more professional.
There's been effort behind that. Everyone's sort of on the same page.
Yeah. And it means that as a franchisee, if I'm not a creative type of person, I don't have to think about how to do something because the franchisor has already done that for me. You see a lot of business owners they're not creative. They waste a lot of time trying to do that because it's not their natural ability. And so they're wasting time trying to create content and create adverts and yada, yada. And it just doesn't look right. And so they've wasted time that they could have invested in their business elsewhere, in building their business, rather than spending hours. Like I can do, because I am creative, I can do something in half an hour that would probably take someone 3 hours, especially when it comes to writing.
If you're doing it all the time as well, like you get in the flow of it. Like with video editing, it's like there's someone I know who has his own YouTube channel, and he put, it's taken me 5 hours to do 5 minutes of this video, and I'd be like, I was just like knocked out.
Exactly.
One in like half an hour. Because I'm like, and you're in the flow of it because you do it all the time.
Yeah.
But like, so how, if you're talking about content and creating consistent content, how do you go about doing that? Do you bring like a team in to do that, or bring an individual in to do that, or a member of staff is in charge of putting that all together?
It depends on how big your franchise is. If you're a smaller brand and you're kind of building your network, it's probably more viable to bring in someone who can do that for you. I know it's a bit of extra cost, but the benefit to you is in the time. Like, you're not wasting time having to go around filming franchisees, having to get all equipment and wasting money and that kind of thing. You can just invest in someone like Mark from Red Book Productions. Is that right?
Yeah.
Do I get paid later? Commission. But it's, it's using people who can do it a lot quicker, a lot easier. They've got the equipment, they've got the resources, they've got the time, they've got the ability. And so that kind of takes the time pressure off you. Time is a valuable commodity these days.
Yeah, it's like you said before, like if you bring someone in to do stuff you don't want to do, and they know what they're doing. Like the number stuff, you don't want to do that. So you just bring someone in who does it. I can't remember, is that the last episode or this episode?
I don't know. I'm consistently saying I'm not good.
Yeah, it might have been the last one.
With numbers.
Like if you know there's something that's going to take you time to do, or you're not good at, just bring someone else in who can do that.
Exactly. If you're a bigger brand, like again, you might have people within the team that you can just kind of let them take accountability for what they're doing, and they just run with the project and obviously run back to you. And normally you would choose someone in the team who knows what they're doing. That person may need to kind of work with an outsource. So obviously we work with some of the brands. They are responsible for the marketing or the recruitment marketing, but because we're the experts in that area, they will kind of work with us and allow us to do the stuff that they could do it, but it just gives them the time back to focus on other things within their business. And so we will take the pressure off when it comes to recruitment marketing so they can focus on core. Or we might do core and recruitment so they can just kind of focus on the network. So it's understanding, there's no right or wrong answer. There's no like one go-to answer. It's looking at what is the capability within the team, within the head office.
Yeah.
Do we need to outsource? Do we need to outsource all of it? Do we need to outsource part of it? And then the biggest thing that I found it easier to connect with a franchisee when the head office introduces me, rather than is like, oh, can you make contact? Because I can make contact, but I'm not part of I'm not part of the franchise, so I'm not coming from head office. And it makes it easier when they make that connection and is like, this is Steph, she's from Coconut, they're supporting us to do such and such. And so there's like, within InExpress, for example, there's a couple of guys in the network, because I started working with them 8 years ago. We now have like the kind of relationship where I can just go to them and be like, I need this. And I'll copy in the head office so they're aware. Or I've cleared it with them and say, this is what I'm thinking, are you okay if? And then normally you become part of the team in that sense.
Yeah.
And so I like to keep my clients involved in the process, aware of the process, but not having to do the process. That's my job. Yeah. My job is to do, so that you can think and strategize and do other things.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no wrong way to do it.
I feel I just like to be like a reliable person.
Yeah.
Who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And this well communicated.
Yeah. I know my standards. I know what I can do. I know what I can do well. I know what I can't do. I know where I need to kind of outsource to someone else. If someone's going to ask me, like we did have clients who were involved in accountancy and stuff, and sometimes I'd have to write with numbers, and I'd be like, I'd message someone else in the team and be like, what am I doing? Because I know that's not my natural way of thinking. It was quite funny when we were doing that, and I started to get all these adverts on social media of like, do you want this accountant? No, I don't. Do you want to come to this accountancy? No, I don't. But I like to, my big things are researching. I want to sound like I'm part of the brand and not someone who's clueless. So I will go really heavily into it, and I will kind of sound like the brand because I think that's important.
You want to be part of the team.
Yeah. It's showing and telling. I don't want to tell a prospective franchisee, this is potentially what you could be doing. I want to really understand and really get to grips with the brand and the franchise and be like, this is how I'm going to show you how it's going to be done. And I remember talking to a franchisee. So they had just joined InExpress, and they were their 100th. He was the 100th franchisee. And I remember talking to him, I was like, what was it that kind of prompted you to invest in the franchise? And he was like, well, I kept seeing all this marketing, and I kept seeing all this content, and it, like, the franchise looked really good, the network looked really good, really supportive. And at first I thought, oh, it's just the marketing spiel. He actually said that, oh, it's just the marketing spiel. But he's like, now I'm part of it, I can see that that's how it actually is.
Yeah, that's good.
And like, for me as a marketer, I'm like,
it reflects the actual reality of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, nice.
And that's what you want at the end of the day. You want the potential franchisee to kind of feel like, yeah, it's not just spiel. It's the genuine, the real McCoy. When I'm in the brand, I'm part of this. It's not just like glossed over to make me think that it's great. It's genuinely great.
Nice. Is there anything I should have asked that I haven't asked?
So, yeah, I mean, when it comes to the actual storytelling element, there's a structure to telling a good story as well. And when you're telling a franchisee story, it's important to get the structure of the story right. And, you know, again, it's about putting them in such a position. So one of the ways that I like to do it is I like to kind of put the franchisee as the hero of the story. Or if we're trying to attract a particular kind of person. So say you're my target audience. I want to make you the hero of the story by telling someone else's story. So that you can be like, I've got this big problem. I don't know what I'm going to do about it. So, you know, like, films, you watch a lot of films. So the structure of a film, you'll have like the problem, the issue that's like really overwhelming. I don't know how to deal with this.
Do you know what film I'm thinking of?
I don't know.
Die Hard.
Never
so Nakatomi Plaza has been taken over by terrorists on Christmas Eve. John McClane, a lone cop, stands alone to stop the terrorists. Carry on.
Yeah. So normally you have that. Then you'd have the guide that comes alongside to say, okay, let's hear your problem. Your problem's this. This is how I would solve it, or this is how you can solve it. And so the hero is then like, takes that on board, like a Yoda kind of thing. And they then solve the problem, become the hero, saves the day, and lives happily ever after.
Unless you watch Die Hard 2, 3, 4, and 5.
10, 11, doesn't it? Just
I
go
think
on
it's
forever.
5. Like, that works perfectly with Die Hard, honestly.
Exactly. It's the same structure for every film. Pretty much every film. Even novels and books.
Yeah.
I read a lot. It's the same.
That's why it works.
The structure is the same.
Yeah.
There's a reason it works.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why we should be using it more in marketing, because it works.
Yeah.
People want to know the protagonist. And then you get like the villain as well. Who's the villain? The villain can be like, within franchise marketing, the villain could be like the boss of the company who's like overworking their employees and like they don't get much money at the end of the day, and they're like, you know, all these bills and stuff. There's a villain. That's something that people can relate to. Or it could be like an illness. Like, people have life-changing situations. And it's that illness, it's the trigger point of like, oh, my days, I've had a lucky escape. I need to make my life count.
From like a home care franchise, I saw this done really well in, I think it was Home Instead. The American brand did videos over Christmas with Macaulay Culkin as like an older Kevin, and like he was looking, his mum was on her own, so she was looking for somewhere, like he was looking for home care for her. Yeah. It's like a Home Alone sequel within a Home Instead advert.
Exactly.
I think it was Home Instead. If it was someone else, I'm really sorry, but I'll find the clip.
Yeah.
But so the villain would have been like time.
Yeah.
In that
time
case,
is often.
But it was really well done.
Yeah. And that's what it's about. It's about using the structure and making sure like there's a reason why things work out there in the real world when it comes to books and films and TV shows. And it's important to use it in marketing as well.
Really good. Nice. Yeah, I'll show the clip of that. Cool.
That's good. So yeah, stories, powerful. Stories have been around since, you know, we were living in caves, sitting around a campfire, sharing stories of how we caught this mammoth and how we, you know, killed that dolphin. Not dolphin. Not dolphins. How we killed this fish so that we could have supper and like everyone's...
Poor dolphin.
I know, I like dolphins. I've seen dolphins.
We got a clip. That's a clip at the start to get you into this episode. That's the hook.
Steph killing a dolphin.
All right, cool. I think we should probably leave it there before we kill any more sea mammals.
I love mammals. I love sea mammals. I love all creatures. Not all creatures, because some are big and scary.
Thanks for watching.